Hey, beautiful people, what's happening? What's going on? Good evening. Salutations, all those parts. So, what's happening? Happy Sunday to you. I hope you have and are enjoying this beautiful Sunday. I think it's the last Sunday in the month. The month went by fast. Didn't it go by fast? The year is going by fast. We kind of want to slow down just the tinge, right? But I hope everybody's good. So tonight I want to have a conversation with some of my fellow creators because of the climate that we're in and how fast actually the climate is shifting. And I see a lot of commentary, if I can call it that, online um, about creatives, about multiple different directions. Some people, when people say creators, if they hear me say it, they may think I'm just talking about graphic designers, but actually, creators are musicians, singers, film directors. They're like actors. And there's so many categories. And tonight I get to talk to specifically actually creators who work for creatives who help people build brands and who've worked with probably some of the biggest brands you know. All of these guys. I tried to get some girls, but some of my girlfriends, they're busy doing what they do. They're working. But I wanted to have a conversation because there's so much conversation right now about creatives, and some of these people have worked for some of the biggest names in the world, but they've also been doing this a long time. So they have a bit more girth, if you will, a weight in the industry. Okay, so first, do me a favor, please. Like, tag, and share. Invite your family, your friends to this conversation. Now, listen, I don't know what's on television tonight. Is there anything on television anymore? Okay, so there's something on. You can just go back and watch it. Or you can come back and watch. So either which way, I want you to have this conversation. Now, listen, we're going to be very straight up. These people are straight up. They're straightforward. They're giants in what they do. I love them. I go to them for advice all the time, but I want you to tap in. All right. So let's have the conversation. So first, I'm going to bring in who actually kind of made me think of this idea. So I'm going to bring in Claude Hamilton. Hi, Claude. How
Hello.
you doing?
Amazing. How are
He's
you?
like a prophet of, the creative space.
Oh, you're going to start this early like this? Okay.
So we're gonna be clouded a little bit, but yes. Then
Okay.
I'm gonna bring in Elton Benjamin. He's like, I don't know, he's like the, okay, there it is, there it is. He's like the apostle, like he just kind of keeps order. pull us back in. And then I'm gonna bring my friend Juma, who's like, in church when they say read, this is Juma. Because he is such Juma, I always tell people about him because if you sat him down in the library, he'd probably be in his most peaceful space. He has this richness for reading that I think oftentimes we lose as we grow up as we grow up. So we're gonna have a conversation. Don't be afraid to like, share, and tag, and all those things. So hi guys, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
How
Good.
you doing?
They being kind of
Great,
shy. They're not
great.
really shy like. Great. So first, let me do this. Let me have you introduce each of yourselves, who you are and what you do. We'll go from Claude down.
My name is Claude Hamilton. I am a creative director and graphic designer, comma, strategist, and all those things. My company is called Creative Genius Studios, where we work with our clients to build bold and profitable campaigns, no matter how big or no matter how small. We're the ones that you call.
This is cool. He's so ready. Elton?
Hey, my name is Elton Benjamin. I've been doing graphic design and branding for about 25 plus years, pivoting to be an advocate for creatives, advocate for business leaders. So we actually know what we're doing and not just throwing paint to the wall and hoping it stick. So just being intentional about that. Agency is called Jablet Media. We service a lot of Main Street brands and we service a lot of mainstream brands. So that's what we do 24/7. I run a conference called Creative Verse. It's also a platform to help creatives and business leaders come together and get to know each other.
Yes, and let's pause right there. So can you tell us, your Creative Verse is coming up. Can you tell us when it'll be?
So it will be September September 18th and September 19th. This year we will be talking about kind of some of the things that we're talking about tonight as far as pivoting. We'll be talking about AI. We'll be talking about and not just regular AI, just how to protect your intellectual property when you're doing all these things in AI. And a lot of people getting back to going out, getting jobs and getting part time. So we're having a lot of skills on how to approach that, how to present yourself, and the mental health of dealing with all this stuff. So we're going to have all that and much, much more this September 18th and 19th in Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll be at NC State, in Red Hat. So we're just doing a lot of things, and trying to keep our artistic people out in the mainstream. We're kind of getting lost. We're probably like one generation away from not caring for the people that started out like we started out while being artistic. So we're trying to help them and not get too much technology based that we lose these people. So that's when it's going to be. I hope to see a lot of my creatives there. We will start selling tickets May 1st, www.creativeverse.org. Thank you.
This is cool. Juma, can you hear me? No. Oh, you might have to go back out. You might have to go out, and come back. So you can't hear. You might have to go out and come back. It happens sometimes in the digital world. Um. So yeah, let's talk. Let's I can jump from thing to thing. I want to jump on the mental health part before I jump anything else because I think it's very interesting. You just said that. Literally, okay, we're all church kids, right? So literally today, my pastor, Bishop Brian Moore, started. We came in the middle of service. He said, he talked about something that he heard. He said God was talking to him about people and their mental health. And he prayed for the whole church about their mental health, where we are in the world, right? So that happened. Every Sunday I watch New Birth, no joke. Watching New Birth, they're going through the service. Brian gets up and he says, so let's talk about your mental health. I said, okay. So obviously there is a conversation that needs to happen about mental health, obviously, for the whole world. But for us, what you just said, I think is so important for creatives because of how we've been, if I want to say affected over the last, y'all tell me maybe last year or so, how AI technology kind of swept in and just knocked a lot of us out. And I think the thing is, a lot of people were not prepared for what was getting ready to take place. I think it's been on the rise for a really long time, and we just didn't. I think we kind of saw it, but it was like, oh yeah, okay, no big deal. And all of these things just started occurring at one time. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we'll have Jim, if he can introduce himself. So, Elton, since you brought up mental health, how do you think creators are being affected?
I think if we got to look deep down at the root of things, I think we never recovered from another new wave, and that was called the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody wants to take this AI and be like, okay, well, this is new, blah, blah, blah. No, it came in a new way of the pandemic. A lot of us had to pivot from, I'm speaking visual designers, because that's who I deal with. We had to pivot from the designer to the video guy, to the streaming guy, to the sound guy, all that in once, right? So now after we do that, that was a culture shock to a lot of us. Not only was it a culture shock for us, it was a culture shock to who we provide services to. Because you was paying one price, well, yesterday's price ain't today's price because we're doing so much more, right? But still, there's that friction of why I can't get the same thing, and you're asking me to pay for more. So then, when you take on that, that's a level of anxiety, trying to get somebody who knows absolutely nothing about what you do, trying to explain something new to them that's new to you, right? So all of that, and we're still dealing with that wave. Now we're dealing with something completely new that revolutionized and changed everything, all right? Just like the car changed transportation from the horse. Well, You have some people saying, okay, well, I'm not going to get no car because I love my horse. Okay, cool. But you're going to get left behind. And you have to improve, 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 improve. And I love that you're doing this because the word we're using is pivot. You have to pivot, and pivot is not quitting. It's a responsibility for you. If you're an intelligent person, you understand that you have to pivot. You don't have to abandon your core values because AI can't replace our creativity. It can never
Absolutely.
do what we prompt it to do. And so we have to understand what that means and what that really is, and not look at it as we quitting, because that's one of those things. Nobody wants to feel like they quitting on anything. I've done this business for umpteen years, and now AI come and I have to quit. That's a major, major blow to somebody that has to
Mm-hmm.
do that, and then accepting that. We don't have to
Mm.
accept it, but when you accept that and you feel in despair, when nobody offer platforms like this to say, hey, no, you don't have to be in despair, you don't have to be depressed. It's okay to go get you a part-time. It's okay to
Yep.
go get you a full-time because there's 24 hours in a day. It's just how much you're willing to pivot and how much you want it.
That's
And
good. Jimmy, can
all
you
of
hear?
all of that, factors in on whatever. That's the
Whatever's going on.
catalyst. All of that's the catalyst of mental health.
This is good. Jimmy, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Juma Salim. I'm the owner of the 1301productions.com. Go check it out. I'm an author, writer. I help other authors publish their books, and I'm glad to be here with Claude and Elton and Yolanda, my great friends. So thank you for having me in this moment. I do want to say one thing about what Elton was talking about, and it is along the lines of you have to understand that AI is a tool. And I think that a lot of people are forgetting that you don't master a tool until you spend time with it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't spend time with it, then it can become something totally different. It can seem like a monster when it's really not. And we have been gifted to be able to use those tools. And I think recently a huge increase of these AI flyers is an example, and they look
Mm-hmm.
horrible. If you just, well, to me, they look horrible because it has no vision. It's just a flyer, right? And it has all the information and all that, but there's no vision behind it. And that's what creatives such as Yolanda Moran, Elton Benjamin, Claude, that's what they do. They're visionaries. Visionaries see the end, the outcome of a thing, right? And so when I come to Elton or someone else, I have to have a vision for myself of what I want to happen, right? And too many times people come and they just drop something on your desk and they want you to figure out what the vision for their project is without having and giving any details. And I think that AI is going to change how we simply because we have an advantage, we have a leg up because we're behind the scenes who don't have access to the knowledge and the expertise as a Elton Benjamin or a Claude or a Yolanda Moran or whoever. But when you have that advantage, you know how to use the tool. Like anybody can pick up a hammer, but that doesn't mean that you're going to hit the nail. That's just my point. That I'm just trying to make that you have to know how to use the tool. And when you know how to use the tool, you become an asset instead of a liability.
Agree. Claude?
They have said all the good things, right, regarding this conversation. So I'm going to pick from both and then intertwine my own thought. Elton is right when it comes to either you accept and then you also adapt in the pivot as well, right? As you where you are, you adapt. You have to be moldable, pliable, flexible in your gift. And then I'm gonna jump over to Juma's conversation as far as making sure you understand the necessity of the tool. Either you will spend time with the tool, and I said just while he was talking, I just literally thought this as well, or the tool will spend time with you, whether you like it or not. Now, AI has been here far beyond its appearance, if you will, in these last couple of years, and I agree
Absolutely.
to the conversation of the pandemic. We literally carried, especially us church creatives, carried the pandemic on our shoulders, in our fingers, in our heads, because we were designing asset after asset after asset, deliverable after deliverable, quarantined in our homes, doing what we do for several churches around the world. At the same time, you come out of that to some level of normalcy, if you will, and then you have this AI conversation. So we now have more output than we have input. I need more and I can't get more. What is the problem? I got to put the same output that I'm putting out that I was putting out during the pandemic now, because I am now in competition. Let me be very clear. You cannot compete when you do not compare. I am not in competition with AI. I learned how to use AI and make AI do what I needed to do. I understand it as a tool. I understand it as a resource. It is not the source. There is a difference. When you understand how to use AI, have the language of AI, you can turn AI from language and turn it into leverage. When you don't have leverage, then you end up being the least of these, and you end up phasing out. You end up falling away. You end up fading to black, closing down your business, and etc. It's the pivot is on. Whether we like it or not, a pivot is here. It is an adjustment. It is a necessary adjustment. It will either heal you or it will help you. One or the other. It will do one of the two. And you got to know how to do the song and dance of what will be AI, what won't be AI. I was working on a project just the other day, and I was like, I created the original graphic from scratch, cutting out each piece, layering each piece, the shadowing, the content, the contrast, and the lighting, and etc. And then I turned around and took the same concept of the original pictures, dropped it over into an AI platform. I said, do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, and and it spit it back out. I was like, now this is interesting. I said, but it still, watch this, doesn't have a soul. AI doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a spirit. It doesn't have anything connected to it. It doesn't have any humanism. Again, either you will spend time with it and or it will spend time with you, whether you like it or not. But in regards to, let's go back to mental health. It is something that I've been saying and I've been talking about secretly among my circle, is understanding the conversation around mental health and the creative. Not just the creative. Let's just go for a little more global market. Where we are in the world, this war and mental health, and ain't nobody talking about mental health. Ain't nobody really saying nothing. Ain't no therapist with like, hey, I told my therapist, I was like, you are missing a moment. Talk about the mental health and this war and how we're supposed to adjust. Because if we don't have the conversation, you'll be losing your mind sitting in church. You'll be losing your mind sitting at the house. You'll be losing your mind scrolling through social media, trying to figure out, okay, how many of us have never, if you will, quote unquote, created through a war. And it's not necessarily a war that's per se a war that's per se hitting our front doorstep, if you will, but it's definitely affecting our wallet. Straight on. It's definitely affecting our wallet. Everything's going up. Everything. Gas, light, the dog food, everything's going up. It's like, what is going on? What is it that we feel? So we're missing those ones. But mental health in this time is 100% an accurate conversation to be having.
Okay. Well, this is why he's the product. I think
now, Yolanda, let me just be here clear now. Now, you asked us to talk. Now, I was busy minding my own business, and I got an inbox. Hey, can you X, Y, and Z? and many like myself, Elton and Juma, probably I'm just speaking for me. I like the back of the room. I like when this light go off, I am the happiest I can be, right? Because I'm to myself. I'm able to enjoy my peace and my quiet. But when I do have to talk, it comes in like a razor because I'm been sensing and discerning and just quiet, prayerful about this, prayerful about that. Do this, don't do that, don't say that, and etc. So, we're gonna have the conversation. Let's go and have it straight on.
Hmm. Something you just said. So I often say that creatives. So first, I want to be clear: we are all believers. But if you're not a believer, you are not exempt from this conversation, because I believe that you can be creative and you can believe in something else. So you're not exempt. Okay. So I don't want you to leave the conversation because of that. But I do want to say I do believe personally that most creators are very prophetic. They see often into the future, and I think a lot of times without. I'm gonna be honest with you, without knowing. I often talk about the Jetsons and it's very interesting when you I grew up watching the Jetsons, right? So in the Jetsons, there are several inventions that did not exist. Jetsons came out in the 60s that did not exist during that day that do exist today. The phone, the watch, this. I mean, really, truth, they do have flying cars. They haven't put them in the air, right?
Yes, sir.
So
I'm waiting on the flying car. I'm waiting
I'm
on the
waiting on the
flying
flying
car.
car. I'm just telling you,
I'm disappointed.
as a creative kid, I'm waiting on the. I keep telling y'all, I'm gonna live until be 100 because I want to see flying cars. I find that creatives have this instinct, even when we see movies, a lot of things, and I think a lot of times people discount those things, and we're not always easily accepted because in truth, I don't want to call us weird. You see black, I see jet black. You see red, I see crimson. we
You know,
we
Crimson
see
is
we
yellow.
see life a bit different, right? We see color
Right.
different. We're sitting there. I don't know how y'all work. When I'm sitting in church, it's like 800 ideas are coming down, and the screen is wrong. And y'all didn't know that was wrong. Like it's all these things happening for us. But mental health has not always been ahead of that conversation, right? So I'm gonna go back to. Can you imagine being the guy, whoever was the person that came up with the Jetsons in the ridicule, like, this is crazy, why would you try to do this? Or Walt Disney and all the if I all the blocks that he went through to create the park, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should creatives involve therapy? I know the answer, but should creators more involve therapy and more mental health spaces into their lives?
I think so, and like you said, we are getting when you deal, well, like you said, most of us deal with a lot of faith based designing, and the faith based world. You know, you got me up here, so hey, here we go. The faith based world is light years behind the market
Absolutely.
commercial.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What the 10 years ago, what the church pays $75, $100 for, I was getting paid at an agency for $600 because you have to pay for the flyer, you have to pay for the time, at least an hour, at least 195 to $100 an hour. You have to pay for every photo stock that you use. There's so many other different things, and so they're light years behind understanding what we do and how it is what we do. Um, so with that, that's how that mental health still hits you like, um you know, what let me tell you how it really supposed to happen. If I tell you how it really supposed to happen, then you wouldn't be able to afford anything. And what we have done, it's kind of some of our fault, because what we have done is giving people images, and we've done social media and made them look like $1 million when we know the
Absolutely.
conversation behind the scenes is, hey, I don't have but $2. Right?
Absolutely.
That's been that's been the conversation, and we've always had to play the honor card of, okay, I'm not going to expose this person. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm not going to expose, because no matter what their character is, because they have the microphone, they can say what they want to say, blah 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 blah, and we just rather not go back and forth with it. So I'll get further down the conversation before I say something else, but I just think we have a lot of things to deal with and a lot of things to teach people in the faith-based industry, or just leave them alone. Because some people, you know what I thought about the other day is your talent your talent sometimes has risen above what you can explain to somebody or
Mm-hmm.
what they've been exposed to. If they've been exposed to $50 their whole life, then your quality of design is at $300. You can never ever educate them on that. And so there, where you think you're losing, you're spending somebody's paying you $50 for 6 hours and then 4 hours of adjustments and changes, right? But if you get somebody that charge them $300, $400 for something, $1,000 for something, it'll be just like that. And we don't believe that when you're coming up, you don't believe that nobody gonna do this, nobody gonna do that. But you will the mindset of people when you deal with people that want to pay low and discount, well, just know that word discount, it subconsciously do something to your brain and it subconsciously do something to their brain. Yours go down, theirs goes up. They still want $1,000
Absolutely.
white glove service. And you like, listen, you ain't pay me but
Absolutely.
this much right here. Chill out. Right. And so we'll that's why I said a while ago, don't
Absolutely.
be a hostage. Don't be a hostage to anybody's money. If you got to get you a part-time, you got to do that, you got to do whatever you can to make sure you got something that you're not a slave and you can be selective to who you deal with. I know somebody right now and they think they are hands above and
Mm.
they're dealing with, Church of God in Christ and they these and this and that. I'm like, you don't even know you're killing yourself. You're what we used to call a starving artist, and you holding on to something. Say, I'm not gonna let this go. This is my favorite. When you can charge them what you need to charge them and create whatever you created again, right? And a lot of people don't like to talk about it, but I talk about accountability as designers, as branding strategists, people, because if
Yes.
we can't keep if we can't keep doing what we're doing and we don't take care of ourselves, we can't do nothing for anybody else, and we can't provide for ourselves, and that starts with mental health. And most of the times we bring it on ourselves because we sabotage ourselves to think that we want to be working with this person, we want to be doing it all. I do it all. I think that's the saddest thing I can ever hear somebody else say. I do it all. I do this,
Mm.
I do that. Okay, cool. Then that's you're never gonna make any more money because you're never gonna make any more money. The most money we have to look at history and how people have made money. They haven't made money by themselves. They've made money by engineering. Hey, who can I get to help me? Who can I get to help me? Hey, the flyer may cost $200 to design, and I charge somebody charge me 125. Hey, they design it. I still make money. I just save some time. And I'm gonna say this now.
Mhm.
I'll let go. This guy, um, this old guy, he's a real hands-on guy. He said, "Hey man, you gonna cut your grass?" I said, "No, man, I don't have time to cut grass." He said, "What? A man that don't cut grass?" I said, "Sir," I said, "You know how long it takes to cut grass my yard? It takes almost 2.5 hours to cut my grass." I said, "You know how much money I can make in an hour? I can make $100 to $500 in an hour. I'll pay somebody $50, $75 to cut my yard while I make the other 400.
Why you make up the money?
My math off, but at the same time, know the value of your time, right? Know the value of your time because it's way more than your hands and your back because they're gonna give out.
This is good.
Right.
So I want to talk about something that happened. I won't call names because I know I don't do that. But creators are often so. First, I do believe Elton is always big about us being accountable. But I also notice that a lot of times we are indirectly attacked, indirectly kind of picked on. Like, y'all don't y'all don't do anything for people. Y'all charge the people too much. And shout out to Jessica Van, who took up for like the whole community. And her, kind of her response was, this is not true. We have discounted, as he says, ourselves for years. We have offered things even during the pandemic. I so agree with Clark. We did carry the pandemic on our shoulders in the faith-based world. And I want to stretch to say, I'm sure even designers who create or creators in the corporate world, people didn't know what to do. For years, we suggested websites, upgrades, that. People were fearful. They didn't want to do the social media. They didn't want to. And then when the pandemic happened, everything crashed. And everything that we have been saying for several years, everybody needed. And we all came to the rescue. But how many people actually, and shout out to the people that did check on us, but how many people actually checked in and said, say, hey, are you good? Do you have food in your refrigerator? How's your mental health? We checked on each other, but and all of the frustration people have. So here we are, present day, and people saying we don't do enough. But many of us have taken the L. Privately, we talk about it, but many of us, and this is not a you not treating us right conversation. Really, my goal is not to tell you that you eat bad, but not give you a remedy. My goal is to say this is what's happening. Here's some solutions, or what can we do, right? So, in the same token, Claude, how do you feel? Number one, how do we address these things? And then, what are maybe not all, but what are some of the solutions?
So loaded, right? Let's unpack it. You first address these things as far as accountability, right? I'm going to make sure I hit your question exactly right. The accountability part.
The accountability being indirectly or indirectly, if that's the right word, nudged, if I could say, on socials that we are not, doing our part, or we're not giving enough, or we cost too much, or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I've learned, first of all, let me deal with accountability. Every creative needs to be accountable, period. There's no way around that. You need to be accountable, period. No way around it. There is one way, but just to be accountable. You need to find yourself in a group that is sharper than you.
Absolutely.
You can't be the sharp one in the group. That's not accountability. That's downability. You account up, not account down.
Absolutely.
You find people that will sharpen you, make you better. Iron sharpens iron. I found that a lot of us creatives are hanging around dull knives. We're hanging around butter knives, and we're expecting to get a steak knife and have a steak experience and charge steak prices. When you don't hang around steak knives, and you don't eat from steak tables and steak restaurants, but you trying to cut a steak with a butter knife. It doesn't work. That's one. Two, saying that we don't do what we're supposed to do, or we charge too much, or we value what we value. Let me tell you something. First of all, when I learned that my value was locked in my mind, when I learned that, I became unstoppable. I became to the people. I became, oh, that's too much. Oh, no. I had to realize the work that I was putting in deserved to be honored and valued at true price, at the cost that it costs. It takes what it takes, period. You want a full conference brand done for your entire conference, and you only want to pay $497, but you want 20 flyers, you want motion graphics, you want screen graphics, you want tie the envelope, you want a retractable banner, you want a step and repeat, you want customness, you want custom head cutout situations for $497. No, I'm sorry, I can't do that. It doesn't work that way. I understand my value that I'm going to take time to sit here and push these pixels to get it to the way that we need to. So make sure that the print quality is proper, to make sure everything is in its place and in its time where it's supposed to be. When I learned that, you got to value your mindset. You got to unlock the money. The money mindset is a real thing. When I finally got it and unlocked it in my brain, I finally understood, oh, I had no business charging XYZ dollars for this when I knew I should have been charging XYZ for this. Now, of course, you're going to have that client that says, oh, you're too much in X, Y, and Z. I can't afford you, or my budget is this. Well, you knew you was coming over here in the first place. And the reason I had to ask this wonderful question, thank you, Yolanda. I asked this question to a friend of mine, a couple friends of mine. I said, y'all got some amazing events going on. Y'all don't call me, do y'all stuff no more. They said these words to me, and it helped me realize something, Elton. It helped me realize that I had subconsciously rebranded myself, and I did not mean to, but I intentionally did at the same time. I said, why don't y'all call me to do y'all events no more, y'all flyers and this and et cetera? They said, well, Claude, we understand that when we call you, you're the top 3 in this city that we're going to call.
Wow.
Because we know we're going to have the budget to sustain you.
This is good.
I couldn't be offended by that anymore, because the truth of the matter is, what they don't know is privately, my conversation's always been, I know I'm a Rolls Royce. There's no question about it. When you have a Rolls Royce type of mentality, you don't have you know where to go. Rolls Royce does not do a whole lot of money in marketing, but you know where to go get one.
Yes, you do.
You know where to go see one, on a real one, in a up to date one. You know where to go. And when I heard that, that helped me understand that my value, what I had internalized and made personal had become public, and people started recognizing it and respecting it. I said, okay, cool. I can't even fight you on that. I appreciate the opportunity. You know, I look forward to work with y'all X, Y, and Z. But I had to understand that my value was in my brain. When I got my value, but watch this. Did I lose clients? Yes, but I gained more peace. Did I lose? Well, you XYZ now. Because I know what it cost for me to sit at this computer and intuit what did not exist. See, you can you can prompt all you want to, but prompting is not praying. Prompting is not getting into a secret place or getting a download of what your project is to bring from one world to another. We are the original AI intelligence, the creative intelligence that we are. We are the originals in the earth. Those who are creative. I'm not just talking about church. I'm talking about creators across the board. We have that intellect. We are that stream of energy. I like to say, I wish I had my book here. I wrote a book called God, the Creative Genius. We are snatched out of the rhythm or the energy of God. And we're put into the earth to create such and be such and do such a thing. We have to step into the future, grab an idea, take your asset and make that thing work. That's a different type of intelligence. That's something skill not alone could not just give you. So yes, value what you value. Whatever your mindset is what you will charge. I had to learn that, Elton. I had to learn it. And when I got it, it made all the sense. So I started having liberating conversations around money and stop talking to clients whom I thought, back to this point that you said earlier, Yolanda, these hero clients that I thought I wanted. Because some of these hero clients that I thought I wanted were actually monsters behind the scenes, and they're hellish, and they have horrible attitudes, and they don't know how to talk to people, and they don't pay their invoices on time.
Absolutely.
And they get mad at me when I get quiet. Well, what you get? What I just returned unto you what you delivered unto me. I just became a reflection of you. That's all.
Absolutely.
That's all. I just became a reflection of who you are and what you demonstrate. But I had to stop having low-tiered conversations with clients that no longer fit my budget. When I started having conversations and corporate conversations and people in boardrooms that make decisions, that are the money makers and the check writers and the funders and the hedge funders and the judges and people in government that know where the money resides. Then I started aligning myself accordingly, Juma. And when I started aligning myself, that's when I started seeing my lifestyle become a little bit like, oh, okay. My name was walking in boardrooms and judges' chambers and in political offices before my presence ever. Like, oh, we've already heard you. We know exactly what you can do. How much is it? Let us know. We're waiting on your invoice. Wait. And we're not waiting to cut you a check. We're ready to pay it right now. We have the company credit card ready to pay. In full, not a deposit. I'm just saying.
I think that most of us have no idea of the value we carry. Somebody said to me, don't you feel some type of way when you create this flyer that looks like we're going to the $1 million church and we walk in and the air condition don't work? I said, well, here's what you don't know. I don't even know what the church looks like. I created based upon what I heard. I created based upon what I felt. I watched Disney that day and I felt good. And so that's what I created from, I love Disney. So I created from this space, right? And something says, I don't know that it didn't match, actually. I had no clue. So what he said is true. We pull from all these spaces, but when our health is not in the best, when we're dealing with grief, when we're dealing with loss, in multiple different facets. I feel like some of the worst advice I got when my mother passed was I understood the premise of what they were saying, but the underlining of it may not have been the best. Yolanda, people are going to feel sorry for you. They're going to offer their condolences, especially when Kevin Loomis died. It was like people are going to feel sorry for you. They're going to offer their condolences, but they are going to want their work. And you know what I did? I pushed away what I was experiencing and I took on what I had to do. And I get it. You got to take care of life. But what happens is you keep doing that and you keep pushing down. And then you start to devalue who you are. And you start to devalue what you offer. And so I want to ask Juma a question because Juma deals a lot. You know, we deal with all the church kids. Juma deals a lot with corporate, but in our conversations with him, I've noticed sometimes we feel like corporate is better, but, and I'm not saying it's not, but sometimes I've learned it's the mentality. And so he's had these, corporate experiences. And he's like, yeah, this is that. So can you talk about how the difference you've experienced between the church and the corporate for creating?
I definitely want to kind of start out by piggybacking off of what Claude said about the mindset. I think for me, and for any creative, I think what changed my mindset was what do I have in my hand and who's willing to pay me for what I have in my hand, the value that is worth, right? And so I started realizing that the people that I was going to try to push what I had were not meeting me where I was. So it wasn't a win-win, it was a win-loss. And so here I am struggling to get people to pay me, but there's a whole another market of people who are able to cut the check. Like Claude said, I mean, they don't ask questions. They trust the creative. They trust that you have the talent, the gift, the skills, and the awareness to make whatever thing that they need done come to life. And so that's why I kind of shifted to that corporate space. And what I learned in the corporate space is that when people have something that they want to accomplish, they come to the person that they can trust, right? The dollar amount doesn't matter, right? To a certain extent, it's like, can I trust you with this, and will you be able to bring what I need? That's it. Other people who have a low budget or no budget, I switch from just dealing with regular people to corporate, is that regular people ask a lot of questions that don't have nothing to do with the bottom line. And the bottom line is, what is the outcome? And one of my notes that I put down is we have to go from, and this is for creatives and for people who have businesses of nature, is what am I growing and who am I growing it for? Because that's the difference maker. Whether you're a creative or you're a person that has a business, a lot of times people who have businesses, they don't necessarily have the growth mindset. They have a money mindset. And when you have a money mindset, it's about expansion. And expansion comes with the whole pie of the cake, not just the front end or the back end. It comes with everything. And what I learned from, watching Yolanda, Miranda, Claude, and, Elton, is that money can shift how you create. And that's just my honest opinion. If you have enough money, you don't have to worry about how you're going to do something because you have enough to take care of your project. You got enough to take care of your own responsibilities. And that's being able to create from a place where there's no kind of like mental hardship, if that makes sense. Just cutting the check. You know what I'm saying? Cutting the check. I watched, Elton do some amazing things, and I watched his life change simply because people were able to cut the check, right? And when you got a person that can cut the check, it changes your lifestyle, is what I'm really trying to say. It puts you in a very creative space because you don't have the stress of the how I'm gonna pay this light bill or how I'm gonna do this. Everything is covered. So now I can just simply focus on creating.
That's so good. Tap. Elton, you said you wanted to tap in on that.
Yes, two things. I think, you know, John spoke on my growth. The things that helped me in my growth is I had to do an identity shift before I expected an income shift.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
And that's the thing. TD Jakes had this told this story one time where, you know, when you have people that have come with you so far, they'll come with you to the airport, they'll come with you on the runway, they'll come with you. But a lot of people are scared when the plane goes up and you start getting turbulence. They wish they could get off.
mm.
And everybody can't go on that flight with you. Because some people ain't gonna get on the plane, some people ain't gonna go on the airport. You have to have some kind of identity shift. And a guy asked me, he said, why have you, he said, when I posted some stuff from years ago, he said, man, I didn't know how long you've been doing this. And he said, I got much more respect for you. He said, how do you keep relevant? I said, I recreate myself probably every 5 or 6 years. Every 5 to 6 years. And what I've done is I didn't necessarily go after new clients. I mastered what I was already doing and what I already had. How can I treat these clients that I already have better and make sure that their ROI is what it needs to be? Because that's the only way they can keep spending money with me. And hey, did that mean I had to get more education? I mean, I had to do research, more research. Now I do research every day, at least 10 to 15 minutes on learning something new every day, learning something new industry or something. But I always had these people. These people kept me when we had the pandemic and everybody started to pull away. It was the people that I had for 20 years plus, 10 years plus that came back and took me through the hardest time we ever had in our life in business. Right. So if you, like the Bible says, if you show a kind heart, people will show it back to you. You show yourself friendly, people will show it back to you. Now, if business just don't line up, like Claude say, hey, you have to, when somebody give you that respect and say, hey, we like you and we want you, but we just can't afford your price. Our budget is there. I got hit 2 times. The beginning of the year, I got hit with 2 of them. Right. But by the grace of God, me serving and helping other people, helping my church, help people come to Christ. But with the image and the work that I've been doing, I haven't missed a beat. I haven't missed a beat because God gave me a great wife. To let's sit down and have family meetings with things. We lose things, and now we got to sit down and say strategically, this is what we got to do here, this we got to do there. And it takes that. But if you're not doing that, it shows, because you know how it shows. And I wish that people would get this right here. It shows in a designer what they're doing, their policy, their strategy. When you see a social media post, when they keep complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining, I'm sorry I did this, I'm sorry I did that. No, just set yourself up so you don't have to show those public failures.
Absolutely.
Why would I trust you with my thousands of dollars, millions of dollars brand, if every other week you have a story that how you dropped the ball? If you drop the ball, keep it to yourself and get better. But I'm not giving you that. I'm not putting my brand in your hands if that's how you handle it. That was my 1. My 2 on what you said. It's a person, and I will call the name, but I don't even call the name. I'll call him a culture vulture, a ministry culture vulture. And like you said, they have everything to say about everything.
No, I'm not gonna let you walk past that. I'm sorry. You don't get to pass, Elton. You said a culture vulture. I'm stealing that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So no, but you have culture vultures in it, and I started out with corporate, so I understand what you're saying, Yolanda, about this and that. And I started from corporate and came over to small business startup and faith-based. But what I'm saying is, like, this guy, he's just, our designers made him.
Yes, these are facts.
Made him.
Creatives made him. Let us be
right.
clear. All the way around.
But now you're at a place and you can say, hey, a designer charge too much. It don't take that long. It don't take this. It don't take that. Sir, me and him had it out one time. And he was like, oh, do I know you? I was like, no, but you will continuously from now on, because you're not going to keep spewing that. You're not going to keep spewing that. You have all the shoes that you want. You have all the fine suits that you wear. You done built big buildings. You got all the cars that you want. You got all the facilities that you want. But you think I'm going to let you talk about the people that created that for you? Nobody would have known, or you wouldn't have any kind of reputable visual status if we didn't create that for you.
Absolutely.
Same way that you want to look good with all these clothes and all stuff, we made you look good. We provided the eye candy for somebody to even give you a chance to say, hey, let me see what he's talking about. He looked like he done something.
Absolutely.
You just, we create perception.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
That's why when you go a designer goes to a restaurant, when he or she sits down, what's the first thing they do at the menu? Start looking to see if everything's aligned right, if it's in the Z pattern.
I feel called out. Yeah.
You can't get it out of our system, right? But that's what we do. And so when we give you, we expect back what you get, what we're gonna give, and what we expect. I don't go, if I go to a restaurant and I gotta go to somebody and my waitress got angry resting face, give me another waitress. I came here for an experience, right? Because I know that's what I'm paying for. I ain't just paying for the food. I'm paying for the experience too, right? So when that guy goes and talk about everybody, I'm like, you know that you just degraded even the first person that did a flyer for you. Because other than that, nobody knew you.
No.
And still now, you just talk. And I just won't stand by and let, because you don't know the value of what you're dealing with. You don't know how much value that a designer gives you. We give you all the weight in the world.
Yep.
We give you all the weight in the world, right? So yeah, I think, with the faith, I'm not downgrading, because I got tons of great faith-based clients, right? But we have to call a spade, because if we're not, we're going to keep having horror stories for ourselves and for clients that their mouth runs faster than you can ever breathe. Right? So, I got you. I won't let that guy keep getting away with it. I hit him in his inbox every time he put something up crazy.
Yeah, I want to speak to that without, y'all know I don't do here's the thing. Again, I saw something today where a woman said she was, I won't, say what but she said, I'm going to church today, and I just have a concern with overweight preachers and teachers. And I hope when I go today that they're not overweight. Okay, I can understand your concern. I do. Is that a true statement? Yes. Are we not the best in our health in the Black community, church community? Yes. But my also concern for you is, what is your solution? Do you have any help? Here's what I've learned about it, even about health. A lot of times our underlying issues have nothing to do with the actual, it does have to do with the food. And Clark can speak to this more because he's been on this health journey. We all been on this health journey. But a lot of times it's deep-rooted issues that happened to you when you were a child. And you got to deal with that stuff. So when you come and you say, I don't know if I can hear from him because of X, Y, Z. Okay, so what are you saying? A lot of times we have all these concerns. We say these things, but we offer no solution. So when you come and you say the creators are not doing, they are not that, they're not that, I inboxed him too. And I said, hey, I saw your post. I would love to come and sit down and have a conversation, online conversation. How do we come up with solutions? Because I started doing work for the church, in the church. I'm never going to abandon this space. But how do we get people, how do we help? How do we help people understand? Do we need to help people with their budgets? Somebody said this to me. You really, respectfully, most cases, you do have the budget.
You do.
It's how you're allocating the budget. My pastor said today, he said, the truth is you do got enough money, but it's your alignment that's off.
A lot, yeah.
right? So you can't say that. No, no, no. You may not have the budget of TD Jakes. You can't compare yourself to that. Most
Hmm.
in the faith based world. Okay, most churches. Um, Shout out to Bishop David Cooper who always gives me these numbers. Most churches, their membership is about 150 less. Right? People think that that's the average church. The average church is not 5,000 people. You
Listen,
can't compare to that. There are people in rooms. I don't want to stand in church, but I'm just saying you can't compare yourself to a TD Jakes or a Jamal or this person or that person. The pastor probably don't even see the flyer. He see it when it's online because
and,
he understands that what he does is bigger than that moment. Not that it doesn't matter, but you know what I'm saying? That he's able to disconnect. So this is something I want to throw in here too. You got to be okay with letting go.
yeah,
While in the beginning of my business, I was very keen about only talking to the pastor because I just didn't like going through the circle. But I've been blessed to work with new administrators who are very clear in what they're doing. And it feels like that weight is kind of lifted because if you're the pastor, you praying for the people, you done that. How you have time to tell me what to do the fly? That's a lot. You have
mhm.
to be okay with trusting people and letting go. It's like what Zoom was talking about the corporate. Can you imagine the CEO of Apple coming to you, telling you what they're going to do for their branding? He may be in the initial conversation, but afterwards he passes it on. So I think some of what we're experiencing is people are trying to carry more than they should. You got to be
And
able,
they
I say this all the time. Church is over on Sunday, even if it's just you and your wife. That's all you got. On Monday, you and your wife need to be having a conversation about this happened on Sunday. And on Tuesday, there needs to be some follow up. If there are 5 people that came to your church, you can't be like, well, there wasn't 20. No, there was 5. Be grateful for the 5. Did you follow up to the 5? Okay. So
and they
follow
have
up.
the budget.
Yeah.
They have the budget.
You have the budget.
It's what your priority is.
Yep.
Because if you go out fine dining every Sunday, you cut that down. Now you got the budget. Whether you got somebody, hey, I only got this right here. How can we back into it? And you still give me something that's gonna be visual in the public. That's just it. That's the conversation to have. Um, but they have the budget. People have the budget, and just like corporate, they have projections from 2 years out.
Mm.
And you don't tell me you can't sit down and do. It ain't you just people just doing a lot of churching and ain't doing no business.
And ain't doing no
They ain't
business.
doing no they ain't doing no administration.
Right.
They just shouting and snot bubbles and crying around the church. That's what they're doing.
I'm gonna say
I ain't
this.
gonna
I'm gonna
play.
ask Claude. I'm gonna ask Claude a question. So every year, this is our favorite time of year, right? I'm not picking on the church kids, but what I'm saying is the kingdom should not be behind, but we are behind. It's my personal opinion. The kingdom should not be behind. The kingdom should always be above. So every Easter, I put out this big thing. Okay, let's get ahead because I said I'm not going to do lashes and deflower like that. Just makes no sense. So let's get ahead. And I recognize how many people still 2 days before, hey, I need an Easter flag. Why are we planning so late? Why are we not, like he said, why are we not having these meetings before? We're projecting before. So I want to ask Claude a question specifically. Do you think we give people too much experience in the sense of we're giving you a $500 experience when you've paid us $100?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I say that with a lot of respect, with being a 20-year vet in this industry. Yes. Because unfortunately, to back what Elton said, we create perception. We create your digital presence and what that looks like and how that's integrated, right? We create that. We take what was nothing into something and we give this immaculate experience on a design, but only to come to the actual service and it's nowhere. It doesn't meet the part. It's not. It doesn't match. you got all this, wonderful hierarchy of text, and it doesn't feel like this flyer, and then you reference this flyer, and I want it to look like this. Okay, cool. Then you get there, then it says that it's at second Mount Watermelon, Second Baptist, First Episcopal, First Edition, Second Edition Church, where the bathroom is in the bathroom. The bathroom is in the back. The sound system is outdated. You're still on an analog board. You'll go live stream from y'all phone excuse me, you don't go live from your phone, you go live from an iPad mini, right? And you haven't updated any of that. The camera equipment, sound is off, the drums still have a busted hole in the head, right? The keyboard is that analog keyboard that you're still trying to figure out what is what. So yes, to answer your question, I think sometimes, and here's the other truth of that coin is some of us are manipulated and paid to do such. Well, I don't want it to go that way. I want it to do this way. So we are controlled because of a cash flow.
Oh, that's good.
We're controlled to make it look like such when it really not is such. So to maintain peace, you end up taking the back seat to what really is going on to fulfill ego and manipulation and control. And we enlist into slavery. Now we don't want to talk about that. That's too sensitive. That's too much. That's too fast, too soon. We enlist into slavery because we want to make a client a happy client. One thing I've learned how to do, and I've learned this key very, very, very clear couple years ago, as a matter of fact. I didn't know how to do it at first because I designed from a place of passion and prayer and all the things. I'm going to tell you what the Lord told me one day, and it was very clear. He told me that I was being frustrated with the client because they could not see what I saw. They could not step into what I had already stepped into. That the Lord said to me, Elton, very clear, Claude, you're going to have to learn how to design and detach. Do whatever they're asking you to do. After which you have resolved their desire, their objective. You collect that payment as you already have and you climb yourself back in that bed and go about your business and take your hands off because it ain't got nothing to do with you at that point. There is a space of creativity where you have to learn how to design the project, whatever they're asking for, even if the client feels as if it's not their target market. I know a client right now, swear for God, that millennials is their target audience. So they wanted the flyer to look in the millennial way. And I said, well, I beg to differ because according to their actual age and their demographic of who they served over the course of time, no, that's not their demographic at all. But you know what? You know more than me. God, what would you like to do? You would like to have doves and swords and spears and etc. Sure, you want clouds? Let's do that. Let's do that too. You want all this other. You want cool? I don't want this. I don't want red. I want blue. Why? Well, okay, no problem. You want which color red? Matter of fact, can you screenshot me and send me the exact red that you're talking about? Because what I'm gonna do is take that dropper and go sample that red. Yep. Put that on there. As a matter of fact, don't make me mad enough. I'm genius enough to take your screenshot, blow that sucker up, and blur it and use that hue a part of see.
Petty.
Don't see. Come on now. We got to know how to reserve and where to place our essence. The Bible says this, and it's clear: do not throw your pearls among swine. Here is why. Because the pearl has the tendency getting between the tooth and the gum to cause irritation. What client do you have you've allowed to become an irritant? Okay, carry on.
This is so good. Shout out to Lamar Harvey, who has privately fussed at me for a long time, as they all have, in truth. But that's what creators do, right? So shout out to Fatima. We love her. Because of her, we all became connected. And I want to go back to something Elton said, and then Lamar. He said, and they both said to Elton and Claude, you got to be around people who sharpen. I would not have become or becoming the designer I am today had I not been a part of this space where I could be sharpened and sharpened quite hardly, actually. But I always say I appreciate it. So if you're out here in this creative world, listen, no matter what you do, maybe you're not a graphic designer, maybe you're a singer, you feel like you don't need anybody's singing classes, huh? But as we've all seen this amazing Michael Jackson film, don't ruin it for me, I haven't seen it yet, but he was always sharpening. And we're talking about the king of pop. We're talking about Michael Jackson. And he was always sharpening, always developing, always working to be better, right? So Lamar used to always fuss at me. He said, let it go. Just let it go. You offered your thought. They don't want your thought. They want none of this makes sense. He said, do what you do and do what they ask you to do. Get your money. Don't post it on your socials and move on and let it go. So I think because creators are so passionate and we're so connected, and this is a lot of us have been doing this for so long, but I think there is maturity. Thank you, Lord. I think there's maturity in letting go and not hanging it on to it and not, literally taking it on to where it becomes a part of your blood. You got to just let it go. It doesn't matter. What doesn't matter what the job is, church, it's corporate. You got to let it go so you can move on. Because sometimes we hold ourselves up. We're doing something for hours and hours and hours, and they just want it.
Because you will pigeonhole yourself in that space of creativity where that's not really meant for you to pour that next essence. You got to know where to pour your oil. You got to, that's so good. You got to know where to pour your oil. You got to know where to really let your genius be shine. Know where your genius can be shined. Here's the truth of the matter. A real experienced graphic designer or creative know their client enough to know, right? How to, is that Michelle? I love Michelle Cox. Oh, love her. To know where to pour, how to move with certain clients. I have become such a pro at this now. I'm very, very clear when certain clients come to me, or I know how to ask specific questions or rephrase the same question 5 different ways so that I can hear what I need to hear to say, okay, I can do this with that client. No, I can't do that with that client. I got a client right now. They did not have any creative direction concerning their project. I had to go down and ask about 10 different questions, kind of peer through, kind of pick through. Okay, what about this? And what about that? Okay, tell me more about this. Talk to me more. It's in there. I just need to talk about it more. And when I finally got it, I said, okay, got it. Turn it around, present it back to them. Yes, that was what I was saying. Now, how did you? And I said, well, you said it. I just took what you said and made it work. I had to know how to pour and when to pour my oil. You never found the woman the woman that decides to wash Jesus' feet with her hair, with oil and her hair. She had to make a conscious decision when I was going to do that moment, when that moment was going to be most potent. Do I use the oil or do I not, Elton?
Yeah, let me use my oil. so you know what? and I did an intern at Disney for about 20 something 2 years ago, and I got hung up on this one part of doing some layout, and my the guy that was head of my department, he said, Elton, I want you to learn one thing. He said, when you're doing stuff, creative stuff, he said, learn how to hold it, but don't hug it. Learn how to hold something, but don't hug it. Because when you hug it, you gain emotional connectivity to it. And then that blocks everything in you that allows you to go forward to create a better product for somebody, which then continues to have them come back to us for the next project. So your emotions can block you and spin all the blockers on you, and this thing, what we call creative block, that will compound on that and will not let you move forward. Right?
This is good.
We have clients, like you expounded on a while ago. We have clients, when they give us something, we just can't design for them. We just can't design for them no more because they'll be stuck in VHS land, and we want to take you to cloud-based land, right? And so a lot of designers fail, not because of their talent. They fail because they never build the systems to support their talent. to curate their talent. It used to be your talent gets you in the door, but your character keeps you there. Now it's your mental health keeps you there.
Oh, that's
Because you
good.
can have all the talent in the world and fake enough character to get in there, but it's gonna be that one little decision, something you do that you think you can go on social media and rant and post, and I'm right, and you don't realize the greatest rant you have is gonna be the one you regret because you didn't step back and let the emotion go. You didn't hug it. I mean, you didn't hold it. You hugged it, and you made it emotional. So now everybody's looking at you, and you're like, "Nah, but I got to say what I got to say." Okay, fine. When somebody else has a conflict with you, they know that's the way you're gonna handle it. So people that make
Oh,
money
that's
don't have
good.
time to go back and forth like that.
Mm-mm. No.
They
That's so good.
understand, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about pivot, but we also need to talk about positioning yourself for the pivot.
Mm.
Position. Who are you hanging around? Like Claude said, and like Juma said, iron sharpens iron. Okay, what kind of iron you using? We can talk about iron sharpens iron, but what type of iron are you?
Hello.
Right.
The most expensive type. I watched and you guys need to go watch this. I watched the thing on making swords.
Mm.
And the Japanese used when they make swords, they take the metal and then they bend it up and they put this metal with it and bend it up until it's compound and then they flatten it out. So what kind of iron are you around? Are you around people that just gonna gossip?
Mm.
I don't get on a lot of group discussions because gossip ain't my thing. If we ain't talking about making money, if we ain't talking about getting better, if we ain't talking about getting down the line, cool. I mean, I can have fun with you, but I got a family and friends too behind these screens. So let's talk about money. Let's talk about sales. We can have fun, but at the same time, you got to earn your fun if you want
Oh,
to get somewhere. You got
that's
to
good.
earn your
Right.
leisure. People have the money and the budget to do what they want to do with you. If not, Chris Brown and Usher wouldn't be doing a tour. I heard a grown man say the other day that he's gonna pay for the ticket with Afterpay. A grown man, right? So imagine somebody tell you they ain't got the budget. I can afford y'all, but you gonna see them. I was
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
you see grown man with both of them.
That's what I'm saying. So I agree with him when everybody's saying, and Jim will bring you in when everybody's saying. And again, we're not picking on people. The thing is, most of us have been doing this for like 20 plus years. We have walked with people. So this is the thing. We're not actually just creatives. We don't just make flyers. We pray for people. We counsel people. We end up you call us about a flyer, and we talking about you, the guy you broke up with. I mean, all kind of things happening in
Sis,
these
I'm not gonna hold
moments.
you. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not praying for them. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. I'm not praying for them. I'm not gonna waste my good prayer and God's time and bother God about day food. No, I'm not doing it. I'm just not gonna hold you. Go
You're
ahead.
not gonna
Let's
pray for the
carry it.
people.
No, I'm not. No, no,
Shout out
absolutely
to
not.
the people watching. Thank you so much. Shout out to fellow creative, Miss Cox. Hey, what's up, girl? So, Jim, I want to ask you a question because anybody who knows you, you are an avid reader. I mean, this guy, like, telling you drop him in the library, leave him, he'd be all right. So, I want to ask you, how do you feel about, because a lot of us are self-taught. Some of us don't necessarily have formal education in what we do. What do you think how do we get back to educating ourselves? Yeah, that's the question. How do we get back to educating ourselves? Because again, in meeting you, you have made me rethink reading because I don't know how we get away from it as adults. And two things have changed. Where you would go to the library, I remember checking out Charlotte's Web and just being in love with this book and your imagination and comic books and things like that. But it seems like the older we get away from it. And when we do these things, we rely sometimes on our talent and our gift, but sometimes there's lack of education.
We definitely need to read it. I'm not gonna lie. Reading is so fundamental. I know that sounds cliche, so true that it expands your vocabulary, it expands the way that you think. And I'm gonna elaborate on that just in a second. But let me say this, because I got this as my note. I want to go back. Claude is saying, and Elton and you, people are using our gifts to alter their reality. People believe that by altering their reality, their life will become the illusion that they have in their head. It's true. Showing up and being prepared are two different things, right? So we can alter their reality to bring that, but will work.
Mm-mm. See, the devil
Yeah,
alive, Juma. Hold on. You
we can
talking
hear
real
you.
good, but we can't hear you. This devil done hijacked your sound some kind of way. You somewhere in the matrix, and we right here. We were trying to get all the meat that you got going on. You gotta
Try to
rewind the
go
tape.
out and come back in.
Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
come on. All right, I got you. So I was saying, people are using as a creative. You're listening, you're watching. Elton, Claude. Listen, Yolanda. People are using our gifting to alter their reality. People believe that by altering their reality, that the illusion that they have in their head will become real, right? And even if it's true, and being prepared are two different things. So we can alter their reality. Claude can do a whole branding for a person who has the budget, but if their actual behind the scenes doesn't match, when they step up to the podium, it's going to be a blown moment because you've had somebody go out and create an illusion. What you were saying, London, about people showing up and they got a pastor and all these different things. I think Elton was talking about the guy with the imagery. Like we can make your imagery amazing, but is your character going to match that? When you show up to speak, is your proposal, is it going to match this beautiful design that Elton or Claude or Yolanda spent 10 hours on, right? And if you don't show up as that person, it kind of sucks because now you don't sold it short. It's like, this is what I'm saying, that we have to get back to the education part. Is that I believe that as creatives, as entrepreneurs, we're not researching the market, right? A lady tried to sell me some cookies, for example. She was selling some cupcakes or whatever, and she was trying to sell 4 cupcakes for $50. I don't even know if if that's possible. Because have you researched this?
You out again.
Yep, you cracking.
Yeah, you haven't even. Can you hear me?
Yes, go.
Okay. You cannot sell me something that you haven't researched. Is what I'm saying. Right. So like, how can you offer me a service if you don't know the true cost of the service and you don't have any experience? People are starting food trucks. They're doing all sorts of things. They haven't researched the market, the true cost of the thing that they're selling. And what makes it difficult for people to support it is because once you present it to me, it's not even matching the price that I paid. And I believe again that the the problem is we're not educating ourselves by picking up books and reading. There's a huge difference. I know a lot of people love audio books. That's awesome. But it's something about having a book in your hand and actually sitting down and writing and reading it and then highlighting certain points that bring you back to the moment and you for just a second and realize that this is something that I can incorporate into my life, to the way that I think and I move. Right? I think that Clark, where he is now without doing some type of research. right? He has to research. If he is, over time, when you
Uh-oh, you tapped out.
Can't hear
Did
me
I
at all
tap
now.
out?
I
Oh
hate
yeah,
the
his
devil.
audio
I
tapped
hate
out.
What?
him. I hate
What?
the devil.
Why he's on there? Okay, let's see. See, can you hear him?
He's
Claude,
still.
I have a book.
Come on, you better have a book. Come on, read the book. You know what, y'all? I hate this. I wanted to hear so much what Juma had to say because it feels like it's gonna be really good and meaty to the conversation. I really hate the devil, right? And his mama about it.
Really hate
I
the
really
devil.
do.
But
I really do.
but what he's saying is we have to educate us. That's just simple,
It's
man.
very simple.
You can't keep talking about some. Oh, I want to get paid $5,000 for this when you don't sound like you deserve 5,000 of this. You gotta know how to.
right,
You gotta know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
You
While
got you
Juma
got
was,
to know the lingo. You got to know the
yes,
culture.
Yep,
yes.
yep, yep.
Can you go ahead, bro?
That bless me. Yes.
While
And
you
then what?
while Juma was talking, I said, while he was talking, I heard in my heart, I said, oh, basically, in essence, you cannot elevate what you don't educate.
Mm,
You have to put
okay.
in that level of frequency of work, of research, of development. We have
Mm,
so many creatives, wonderfully gifted, amazingly talented, but you
yes.
have no business integrity. You have no character. You have no proper systems in place. People are
Mm-hmm.
still to book you, they're still sending a message to book you at gmail.com. Wait, there is no proper onboarding system. What is your onboarding process? How do we collect invoice? How do we pay invoice to you? Are we still sending you a cash app and sending you a Zelle? What are we really doing? You cannot deploy
Mm,
something that you have not developed, because the truth of the matter is we're against the clock, because if you don't develop or if you don't deploy it, you dissolve.
Listen,
this is good. This is so for me. Can I tell y'all?
urgent.
I'm a proud. I'm gonna say this to myself. Shout out to my friend Alan, one of my greatest friends. Listen, he's gonna be the godfather of my children. Okay, I just love this guy. And I was telling him this moment I was proud of myself, and he said, "You know what? Give, we don't celebrate people for standing up for themselves or having moments just of accomplishment, right?" And so today, this is just my truth. Y'all get fussed at me for years, right? I'm like the nice girl, and da, da, da. So someone sent me something, and they were just a text, and then I said, "Oh," I said, "Thank you so much. Can you please send all your information to design at that? I'm not even gonna accept. I'm not forwarding nothing from my phone. The pictures, and this is no shade to anybody. It's for everybody. My dad got to send me an email, okay? So I'm not downloading the pictures to my thing because you didn't feel like no, 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 no. And I agree with Claude. When you go to Walmart, do you argue with Walmart? What is Walmart? Do you argue with Walmart that they don't take Apple Pay?
No,
You don't
you
argue.
figure it out.
You pay whatever system they have. That you pay with whatever system you have that they will that they will
Or you
accept.
or you can
So
leave.
yeah, or you leave. So this is not about us. I want to be clear. It's not, and I don't want anybody to take it like that because I don't think they mean it. It's not about us fussing. It's about we. Everybody wants more, but they're not willing to do more. Everybody
Right.
wants to upgrade, but no one's doing anything for the upgrade.
No
Right?
work.
Everybody wants to. I wanted that. And something they said. Let me just give you a little quiet piece, okay? If you're brand new, I don't want to shatter your dreams, but I'm telling you, most of your heroes don't work the way you think they work
Mm,
Say villains. Say it. It's okay.
at
Say it.
all.
Say the
At
villain.
they
all.
don't.
They don't necessarily, and I think sometimes again it's about people not understanding. It's like they didn't have to. So let me say, if I'm an artist, right? If I've never had to deal with the marketing, if I've never had to deal with the person, I was an artist. I didn't have to. I just got to show up and sing. I don't really know how to communicate that to you, right? I'm not excusing it, but I'm saying that's some of what it is. But part of this is as the creative, you have to educate people. You can't be afraid. I'm telling you, this is someone who was afraid, and I didn't want to be disrespectful, or I didn't want to. But one day I said it doesn't work like this. You have to. I always pick on. I'll use Michelle Pratt, and I've been knowing her for years, and she'll tell people, Yolanda made me send her a picture. She said I couldn't walk like that no more. No, you can't. You can't sing all over the world, and then you present me with a photo that you took from your phone. That doesn't equate to what you're presenting on stage. It's not the same thing. So I just want to help newer creatives to understand, when you get to work for your hero could be Chris Brown. And you're thinking, oh my God, he's Chris Brown. I'm about to be broke off. No, he's going to pay you. He's going to pay you what you value yourself.
Or what he can get away
Me
with.
and Lamar have this conversation all the time. Yeah, why would you charge TD Jakes $10,000, but you charge the church over there $5? And then you're mad because they didn't treat. No. You have to. And I'm saying this for myself. You have to charge what you value. Today at my church, they were doing Entrepreneurs Day, right? There was a young lady standing outside. She was selling these hand knitted garments. One of the ladies picked the garment up. She said, how much does it cost? The girl kind of paused, and the lady didn't blink. She said, how much is it? She said, $300. The lady says, 300. She said, it's 400. She said, it's okay. It's $400.
Listen,
I didn't blink. So, and all I'm saying, I want creatives to be encouraged. I want you to be uplifted, but I also want us to value ourselves. I'm saying this from a person who always did not. I felt like I had to charge less so I could, because I didn't want to break your budget up. But I didn't know that you went and ate a soul food dinner that was $20 a plate, and you actually have it. But I said I would do it for $50, but I gave you $5,000 worth of work. It's just not adding up.
And let me say this. To new designers, we're speaking towards designing for your heroes, designing for big artists, designing for big ministries, designing for big people. Let me help you out. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. To them, you're a person that, hey, you're just a designer. So the same way that they go in with it like that, you go in with it like the same way. This is my client. This is a client, and you protect yourself the same way. And I must say this right here. This is a thing that has been going on for the last, I don't know how long, about the last couple of years with wave of new designers. Stop ghosting people. Stop ghosting people, because that follows you. That follows you. That follows you. I don't care how much talent that you have. Once you go somebody, your name is mud. Okay, how much talent you got? Because they're going to respond just like this. They're going to respond just like this. Hey, have you worked with David? Yeah, man, he awesome, man. David got great work. But we can't get him on the phone, man. We can't get him respond to emails. We can't get him respond to texts. And when you think you ghosting people, you are helping people disassociate themselves with you, disassociate yourself with sending your name out to other people, referring people, because nobody's going to refer you out when you mess them up, when you ain't want to talk to them, because that conversation going to come back to whoever they refer you to. Hey, man, you seen your dude? He ain't answering his phone. Da. Now you messing your whole ecosystem up. You can't grow no more. And you'll find yourself fighting and can't get no jobs until you go into depression, and now we at bad mental health again, right? So find out how you can tell people the professional way of, hey, I don't think I'm a good fit. This is not for me. Maybe, I can send you to somebody else, refer somebody else to you. Learn how to do those conflict resolution conversations, those soft and smart skills, because that's the thing that's going to have somebody not being able to deal with you now in 2026, but 4 years from now, 2030, they might have the biggest event on the planet. And because you showed some character and some integrity with the leaving of that situation, then they'll come back and they'll deal with you.
Yep.
But don't ghost people, because you're going to become a ghost if you keep ghosting people.
Yeah, and also can I add to this?
Not
And
the
then I
holy.
want to talk about like how we can pivot. I want to add to this too. And when they come to you and they say, I was working with this guy. I don't want to say his name, but his name is a genius something. And they just go and then you tap in. Yeah, I know how I know how. Don't do that either. Okay, can I just offer that
That's
too?
it's
That's a little
called
country
it's
wisdom.
called bait and switch, and it's a trap every time. It's a
Yeah,
trap.
like the best way to everybody knows I'm very loud and proud whatever I support. You can't come to me about them. Now we may come to each other about each other, but that's family, right? But you can't come to me about Claude or Juma or Elton or Fatima or anybody else. You can't, because the thing is, most of us. This is what I want to help a lot of people right now. What you don't know is most of us, a large percent of us, know each other. Most of us are friends, associates in some type of capacity. We're all a part of big, sometimes bigger groups or spaces. And so we remember that. We remember when, and also on the other side, we remember when you didn't pay. We remember when you tried to finagle us or this is all those things are remembered. And we often protect each other. So on the creative side, when that happens, you need to walk through that with integrity and say, I'm so sorry this was your experience, and kind of get them to move on from what happened. Right? Don't dismiss what happened, but try to get them to move on. Don't stay right there, because then you'll find yourself trying to figure out what happened, which a lot of times is none of your business. The other side is, as a client, know that most of the time we do know each other, and people do go through things. I'm not excusing lack of good professionalism, but I am saying, let's just kind of move on. Okay, so I want to talk about, I want to keep you guys, I want to talk about how, because again, I don't want to be the girl telling you lose 5 pounds and you got to lose 5 pounds and I tell you how. I want to know, how can we pivot? We didn't talk a lot about AI, but we do see the AI flyer. So I want to ask 2 questions. First, why do the AI flyers? Because I've heard people say it's just a flyer, Yolanda. It's no big deal. I just needed something real fast. Or why would I pay you to do that when I can just do it through the system for free? So why do these things not work? Because I want to be clear, everybody in this space does more than flyers. We are actually creative strategists. I can't be long with it. There, a few months ago, I ran into a situation, and I will always publicly thank Elton for helping me through this. And I took on more than I should have. That's my truth. I did not stand up for the value of what this project actually was. And Lamar said to me, "You do understand that you are actually a strategist. Like you do more than do flyers. It's not a lessening that, but the flyer is kind of like, in truth to you, sometimes the easiest part, right? So to help people understand the weight of what we do, why do these quote unquote AI flyers or AI projects, right? Why do they not work, or why are they not the best solution? And then how do we pivot from here? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. I ask you like this: would you trust your lawyer if he walked in the court with shorts and a tank top on, even though he tell you that he can win the case? Would you trust him? Right. So that's what AI is to flyers. AI isn't a bad thing. And it's like any other tool. Like we started out, I think Claude saying, or somebody was saying that it's a tool, and it's just that. It's how you use the tool, just like with anything else. Somebody can take a car and run it into a building. Somebody can take a gun, go shoot people, blah, 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 blah. But somebody can, if you don't know what you're doing with AI, stop embarrassing yourself. Stop embarrassing yourself, because what you're doing is, it look like everybody it's like everybody is a part of the same company, but the company just have different cookouts. Because
Hopefully.
you have the same brand colors, like McDonald's has red and white. AI flyers have brown, red, and blue,
Right.
and
Yep.
clutter and clutter. And when you see that, and somebody, a couple things, you see that people ain't invest in what they're doing, right? You telling me you got all this set up and it's gonna cost you 700, 800,000, $2,000 up front to produce whatever you got to produce, but you can't do 75 to a couple $100 for a flyer that's gonna drive the people to you.
Drive the traffic.
That's gonna strategically, that's important, strategically drive the people to you. Not something you put out and hope everybody come. And if there's designers that know how to use AI and still be able to get you to that goal that you need to get to. And it's going to be better than you trying to do it yourself. So I don't think AI is a bad thing, but it will never, ever, ever replace the creative strategy of a human being. And you need that. You need that. You can't trust it without that, because I'm gonna tell you one reason why. If you put in chat right now, what kind of person am I? You know what they're gonna give you? Something you want to hear.
Oh, this is good.
Something you want to hear, and nothing strategic enough to say, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. You may want to do this. This color doesn't match that industry. Yeah, this color matches that industry, but right now they're going through something, so you probably want to stay off that brand. AI
There's a huge
never
difference.
ever.
There's a huge difference between exposure and experience. That people are saying.
Yeah, you're glitching. You're glitching, Zoom.
He in the matrix again. Come on out.
They are
Say the
You in
right
the
pill.
matrix. Come on out. You in the matrix. Come on out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, try now. Damn.
I was just basically saying there's a huge difference between exposure and experience. And I think that AI has allowed people to be exposed to it, the experience to use it. And what you're getting is you're getting a whole bunch of unrelated flyers that all look the same. When you have, again, I'm going to keep using Elton, that's experience. So are you willing to pay for the experience, or are you more focused on the exposure? Because if you're focused on the exposure, then you're going to go and create the flyer yourself, thinking that that's going to change you, but you need experience.
That's good, Juma. That's good.
I think it's the language. Thank you. I think it's the language. And so because we understand the language, I understand that this font doesn't go here, right? Like we when we all started, I'm a font girl, right? It's probably like 10,000 fonts in my computer, which is probably a shame. But you start out, you're using a dozen things, and then you realize it doesn't communicate well. And so as Claude gets ready to respond, I want to help people. Let me help you. Most people do not read all of that. That's why they called and asked you how much it was to get in when it was clearly stated. Because that people don't read all of those things. They're going to go for the what, the when, the where, and the how. In most cases. Most cases, they're going to go for what and when. So you have to clearly communicate what this is. It actually is more than a flyer. Like it's a communication. It signifies what you're doing and when you're doing it, how you're doing it, right? So I'll pick on how I call it. When I have the opportunity to do these things, it's my responsibility to communicate that the bar just keeps getting higher. We don't lower the bar. The bar just keeps getting higher. So I have to be sure and clear I communicate who we are in our brand without saying 10,000 things at one time. Claude.
To your point, we are designers of information. We're architects of information, right? So that's a thing. Now, to the other side of this conversation, the other part of the question regarding AI, I like the way Juma expressed it. I'll express it in a different kind of way. I have a saying, and make sure you quote me and quote me right and give me ties off of it if you use it. The level of your investment will determine the level of your attention, excuse me, it determines the level of your investment. The level of your intention will determine the level of your investment. If you're going, and investment is not just money, it's time, it's energy, understanding how flyers work, the hierarchy of how a flyer is created, hues, fonts, placement, how people read, how to make the eye follow information, how we dissect information. It's the level of investment will the level of intention always is seated around the level of your investment. And most people go to AI, unfortunately, because most do not want to spend time and in the investment of time and the investment of money to really get to the root of the matter, because some of them really just don't know, really don't have vision. You have no vision. Where the Bible is right. Where there is no vision, the people perish. That's truth. But instead, you look for a quick fix, and we look for I just need this real quick because I got a vend at a conference this weekend, and I need me a retractable banner, I need me a poster, I need me a menu created, I need me a business card, all created via AI. But unfortunately, there's some components to that AI is absolutely positively going to miss 100%. It doesn't have personality. It doesn't have a soul. It's not connected to a soul. It does not have passion. It's not passionate about how it looks, how it's framed, how it's set, using the right hue of this and the right hue of that to make sure you are properly aligned, to make sure that your brand identity is still brand identified. Because the truth of the matter is, just because you AI'd your logo, you do not own your logo.
Come on, talk.
And you cannot trademark it, and you cannot copyright it. So how much are you going to trust a system to design something that you were supposed to absolutely be the system for? Give me X, Y, and Z and da 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 da, and make it look like this. Also, you're a copy. You're not an original. There is a difference.
I want to add to what he just said. So number one, you should know as clients, right? As a consumer. I always say this, if you get ready to go to print and you get a company and it's an old guy and he's been doing this, for 50 years, he doesn't want that. He actually wants the correct file, the correct way. And you're going to have a problem because, again, I'm not against the AI. So, Yolanda, you have an AI girl? I do. But she's designed with actual design elements, right? And it's for purpose and intention. And I'm not hiding my face or anything like that. So you go to this printer and they ask you for the vector file. Well, the problem is AI cannot. I'm not against. I want to be clear, okay? But like he said, it doesn't have a soul, and it also there are limitations. So for all the other kid designers who are saying, "Oh, you can," it's the tool. Well, yes, that's true. It does matter who's using the tool, but also this tool does have limitations. I'm sorry. AI does not compare to Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or because there are certain exporting things that you can only get from those systems.
Bleeds.
So you go to the printer and the printer says, I need a vector file. And you're like, what is that? And then you come back to AI. I can't give you that. So then where do you land? You land back in Claude's office because you didn't know that process was necessary, right? So I met someone who wanted to, they asked me about their logo. Completely not the plan for the conversation. We were having coffee. And they said, can you look at my logo? I said, sure. I looked at it. I said, so you made this in AI? They said, how'd you know? Well, I know. I said, so, okay, cool. They were asking me, well, I want to get a decal made and that. I explained the same process I did say. I said, well, if you find a company that will take this as is, then maybe you'll be fine. But if you find a company that's going to require the vector file, you're going to have a problem. I said, so what are these other little parts in here? Oh, I don't know. That just came through there. It don't really matter. Why doesn't it matter? Every part of it matters. The yellow in the M, mm, the yellow in the M of the McDonald's arch was intentional.
Matter. Yeah.
It matters. So when you say these little parts and these little components don't matter, they matter. I said, so here's the problem you could walk into. Number one, do you outright own it from AI? What happens when you go to X, Y, and Z, whatever company, and you want to do, your company is growing? I don't ever think small. So when you come to me by a logo, I always think to the future. So when you get ready to do a billboard, when you get that, and they're asking you for these particular files, he said, well, I didn't know that. I said, you probably are going to have someone sketch this from scratch. Like a Coley, this, Christopher Coley, someone like that, sketch this from scratch, because you could run a potential problem. So again, while we're not saying we're against AI, I do think it's important to know the limitations of that. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a personality. Most times it's going to give you exactly what it asks for. But when you get ready to do branding, you're doing printers, you're doing a banner, stuff like you start to do these things, the companies are going to get rejected. You got to know the steps. You cannot, I won't be long because I feel a little preach. You cannot skip steps. Okay. I just did a book for a client. They didn't tell me they were going to Amazon. Amazon reject. Now, listen, I didn't know Amazon plays zero games
They don't play.
when it comes to publishing a book.
Reject.
I tell you, zero. And they don't allow you to skip one step.
No.
Well, I didn't know that they were going to Amazon. So when they got ready to go to Amazon, they kept getting rejected because initially it was set up to go to a printer, a Kinko's, whatever. Mm-hmm. Long story short, what was supposed to take 1 week took 4.
Yeah.
Because we had to get a publisher, and then the publisher said this, and then you have to have a certain amount of pages when you do it, and it has to align, and then the margins. So, Yolanda, what are you saying? I'm saying, friends and family, you cannot skip steps. That's just in life.
You
go ahead.
You can't skip because you have a professional that is going to give you, sitting right in front of your face. Use a professional, y'all. I don't care how much I'm dealing with a client right now that think they designed something on, I think they put all the information in the chat and got them to design something. And they're like, hey man, well, you ain't really got to do nothing. I just want to do this and get it printed. I said, sir, your whole generation doesn't understand a word called bleeds.
Oh.
You don't understand what bleeds mean. And if you don't understand what bleeds mean, get ready to pay. Absolutely. Get ready to pay, and you get ready to be disappointed, and you better go back and forth with somebody, a lawyer, of why your words got cut off. Yep. Right? You don't know about resolution. When you get something and it's designed up under 300 DPI, it's going to look like mud. And if you've been in the digital world your entire life, you need to learn tradition, because that's going to affect you also if you don't know those things. You got to know your colors. You need to, if you don't know your hex colors, you need to know your PMS colors. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what scanning something out of a book or something like that, you got to know what moire pattern is.
Oh, come on.
You got to know what type of ink you're using. You need to know what type of paper you need to use to make your brand color stand out. So when you get it back, your brand color isn't faded because you wanted to use matte instead of gloss. There's so much. There's so much that you don't know when you don't use a professional. You're setting yourself up to go back and forth and back and forth. And I'm speaking to the client, but I'm speaking to the young designer also.
Yes.
When people try to teach you things, stop. Because if you don't sharpen the saw first, you're going to cut down the tree slower. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take you a longer time to cut that tree down. Mm-hmm. So.
This is good. Oh my God, we could have this conversation all night. There's so much to talk about. Okay, this is my last question. One, in short form, how do we pivot? Right? Because I want to shout out to this guy. I think I'm going to say his first name wrong, not intentionally. I'm going to say his last name, Trask. And so shout out to this guy. If y'all have not seen this, He's doing 100 websites. Now people think this is so crazy, but he went through some type of financial strain with his family, and so he's doing 100 websites in 100 days. Let me tell you what I think is brilliant. Now, I don't know if he already had the websites designed and he's just coming live and say, I did this one today. I don't know the back end part. What I do know is he took a leap of faith and he said, I'm going to do 100 websites in 100 days. And I thought about this, again, shout out to my friend Alan one time. I can't say the name of the artist, but there's an artist that doesn't always have great work that we all love. And the work is just not the best. And Alan said, why are you waiting for them? Why don't you shoot your shot, right? In that, this guy shot his shot, if I'm saying that right. And he's doing 100 websites in 100 days. So he does the site. He posts the post. He said, look what the 100 websites in 100 days, blah, 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 blah. This is the site that we did today. He has landed PJ Morton, Leonard, Leonard, what's Leonard's last name? Tasha Cobb's husband, Leonard. He's landed him. He has landed Adam Black. He's landed all these people, right? And so one person he landed that I was like, this true. His website was just okay. He went to Kirk Franklin and he redid his site. He said it just doesn't speak to who he is. Next day I woke up. He said, Kirk Franklin bought the site. And I thought this was genius because he doesn't know whether people are going to give in or not. So part of me saying pivot is like they're saying if you have to go get a part-time job, if you have to things like that. I just want to shout out that guy because I just thought that was genius, but also developing other ways. I'm not saying do a lot of work for free. What I'm saying is how do you make this season of change, of all the things that happen in the world and the government, how do you make this season work for your life? Start with Juma.
I would definitely start with education, like educating yourself on the proper ways to handle the business, the proper ways to the proper avenues, rather to go about doing what it is that you do professionally. I think that something I'm gonna say really quick is the back end of a lot of the stuff that creators do is not in alignment with where they want to go. Like, and I say this a lot that having your back end together, like your terms and conditions, your invoices, all of those things matter because they protect you moving forward and they help you build credibility. And so I think that educating ourselves on every level of the business, on the front end and the back end matters. So that's my piece I want to
add. Claude.
How do we pivot? There are many ways to pivot, but I would say innovate as much as possible. Don't be afraid to take the risk. It's risky. It's different. Carving a new path, sitting at the table, but changing your seat. The table doesn't have to change, but your seat can. The room can change, but you can absolutely know how to play chess and not checkers. Innovate, create, do something different, challenge yourself, get out of your comfort zone, do something that is absolutely uncomfortable. You really want to see growth? Do it uncomfortably. You really want to see your faith challenge? Do it uncomfortably. Go educate, go grow, go read a book, go write a book if you dare. Do something different that's going to provoke you to do something different to get a different result. The reason why that young man is being successful is because he's doing something different. He's not going upstream, he's going downstream.
Yes, sir.
He's choosing to go a different route. The house can be the same, but you can choose a different door.
Yes, sir.
I'll kind of combine with both of what Claude and Juma is saying. And I'll say that the creative that survives this era, we've had other eras from traditional to page maker, from page maker to just digital, from print to this and that and that. So trends are survivable. This trend is becoming a part of our DNA. So the creative that survives this era will be the ones who combine creativity with communication, with systems, and with business intelligence.
Hmm.
We we're some designers are stuck with a hustle instead of building business intelligence. We don't want to make time for it. We don't want to stop for it. But you have to take time and stop. Like I said, the other couple the beginning, me and my wife do business meetings, uh, and we're taught to do that by our church because only when you do business meetings you can forecast and project what's to come and how to handle what's to come. So it behooves you not to do what you call your business that facilitates everything else in your life, your income. Um, and what I'll say lastly is AI may change the way we do things in the processes, but it will never replace your purpose.
Nope.
It will never replace your purpose. And your purpose, Claude said, he had a passion. He started out with passion. But when you have a purpose, and your purpose is, I want to make room for myself, my family. I don't want to complain about $4 gas. I want to be thankful that I'm able to supply myself, that I'm able to pay $4 worth of gas,
This is good right here.
and reverse the way we think.
This is good. Mm-hmm.
All right. So and that's what I'll say. We're creatives and we can win. We just have to start taking care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of that contract we want on the other end.
So this is what I heard. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Try something that's different. Go against the grain. It's okay if you're not doing what everybody's doing. Again, shout out to this guy. Somebody. I mean, how many people could have taken on Kirk Franklin? And this what happened. Other doors open. Other things that maybe were not considered because it's just like it's just over there. I thought, man, you're gonna make people go back to websites again. Oh, shout out to Tamil Curtis, who always reminds us we actually are on Park Space. That Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, TikTok, none of these spaces actually belong to us. And if they shut down, everything that we've built into the spaces could be lost. So the truth is, you actually do need a website. You need somewhere that people can go to find you, to find out about you and who you are and your brand and your et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And can I add, if your website is not currently functioning, please happily remove the link from your socials. Because we try to go there and there's nothing there, or the link is wrong. I saw an amazing group on Instagram last night. When I clicked the link, it didn't work. Tried 5 times. Couldn't find them.
5 times.
I did. I kept trying to say, maybe it's me. I clicked out. I couldn't find it. But you know what happens is you lose a potential new fan, client, audience, right? So upgrade, grow. Don't be afraid to try something different. If all you do is church, try to do real estate. If all you do is real estate, try to do salons. If all you do is, upgrade, right? So take risks. Don't be afraid to try something new. Better your policies. I am like number 3 on that list. Better your policies. There was a conversation for us creators the other day, and someone asked, well, this person keeps coming to me with what chat said to do. And one Elton was like, you got to better your policy.
You got to
be afraid.
Yeah, let me say one thing, because I don't want to get away from this right here. The guy you was talking about with the websites. Shoot your shot, y'all. Shoot your shot. If you're afraid to death, then that means you're doing the right thing. Shoot your shot. I've done Creative Verse, and my first year, I shot a shot so big across the ocean, you wouldn't even believe. So now everything I do, I've already met the pinnacle of what we do, who does what we do, right? It was only because I asked Chris, and I was brave enough to ask him, would he come? I know it's a whole ceiling of creatives they're waiting to break that glass ceiling, and they may never get to that ceiling. But hey, I'm gonna take this chance to bring the guy in I know that can crush the whole ceiling. And by that, when I tell you, so many people's lives have been changed. So many people's lives have been changed, right? And because I had the courage to try to do something that I know I couldn't do, that I know God did, right?
That's it right there.
I went in that dude inbox and said, "This is this. I know you don't usually do this, blah, 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 blah." And I have gained a friend for the last 5 years.
Wow.
He has brought people over from the UK and said, "Hey, this guy's blah, 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 his crowd, blah, blah, blah." When I used to see them, you know, the meetings and stuff Chris Donham do, I said, I want to be in that room. And this past summer, I was in that room. Only little black kid in that room, right? But I took a step. And though it took years for me to get there, it took that step. And like this guy is doing those websites for those guys, you have to take the step. And while I got this time right now, I like to salute Yolanda for what she's done, how far she's came. I remember this we was just barking at this child. If you don't raise your prices on the flyers, your work is way more better than that. Right? And we used to fuss at her. But look at her now.
Thank you.
She's the pinnacle and the voice of what creators want to say. Right? And so just take the shot, y'all. Take the shot. You ain't got nothing to hear but a no.
Oh, somebody, I want to keep it. We're going to wrap up. Somebody asked a question. Mr. Mills asked a question. Is the market really oversaturated or just really underrated? Which one is it?
Underdifferentiated.
Thank you so much.
I got you. I'm going to say both. I can't say it's either or because of where we are within he's referring to designers. Pastor Mills, my good friend. I say it's both. It's a under differentiation and it's an oversaturation. It's both and. I can't say it's either or. I can't say it's one is this or it's that one. Why do I say that? Because you have a lot of designers. I say this with a lot of respect. A lot of the young designers are learning from the same people and designing the exact same way.
Yes.
If you're designing from the exact same way, I understand getting the education. Get the education. Get the class. But if you are designing the exact same way, where is the creativity? You are not an original. You become a copy of someone. You become a copy of their work, right? Get inspired, but take their seed of inspiration and develop your own style. So your fingerprint, it becomes your fingerprint and your mark print. What is his name? My good friend, Justin Foster, an amazing creative. When he came onto the scene, he was doing stuff that was different, highly respected. And it became so good. It became so good and very fingerprinted. He changed how we start designing, unfortunately, around the scope. He helped change the culture. But at the same time, his work became so duplicable, if you will, or duplicatable. It's like, all right, we keep seeing the same situation. And we end up going back to or trying to find our own identity. Go back to that word in what we were creating. Yes, we were all like, oh, I like that inspiration. I want to inspire to keep it this simple, but this clean. Justin is notorious for negative space. We went through that negative space era. Mm-hmm. And then we started going into a different type of era. Then we started going into this oversaturation era where everything is dark blacks and et cetera, and very moody and cinematic and all this, et cetera. We started going through these. Listen, learn, get the seed, but then find your identity from that seed.
That's so good.
Don't just continue. Well, I went to one graphic design colorist and I paid $250 and I learned from XYZ person and I'm gonna just continue to. That's wonderful. Practice makes perfect. But after you practice makes perfect, then get yourself to a posture that allow you to produce something that's original.
This is good.
Because authenticity wins. What makes you an authority in your creative field is your authenticity. What makes Elton an authentic voice is his authority in the field. What makes Juma an authority in his field? Because he has accepted his authentic skill, his authentic blueprint, how he does a thing, how he creates a thing, how Yolanda creates a thing. There is a signature. And what you have to be so keen is, let me find out what my signature is. Let me go be so intrinsic enough to take a journey with God and myself and my creativity, reading a book, getting my polishing my policies, getting in rooms and spaces, shooting my shot, innovating and creating to make sure that I am doing the development of my gift. I'm saying that again. The development of my gift. God gave me the gift, but I'm responsible for the development of it. You don't like that. You don't like that gospel because that makes you responsible and it makes you accountable. You don't like that gospel. You want to go and copy what somebody else did. No, he gave you the gift or gifts. It is your responsibility to go and develop the gift and or gifts. If you have multiple, go develop the multiple gifts and allow the gifts to do and flourish and be all that they are supposed to be. We wouldn't have got here. Myself, Elton, Yolanda, would have never gotten to this place of mastery if we had not gotten to a place of mastering our gifts. You need gift mastery. You don't need the prophecy. You don't need anybody to lay hands on you right now. You need gift mastery. And then for some of you, you need consecration and creativity. That's a whole nother conversation, but move on.
Yeah, I think some of us, keys come to mind. TD Jake says something. God doesn't make chairs, he makes trees.
Yes.
It's not really up to God to develop your gift. He gave you the gift. It's up to you to develop it. When God allows a woman to be pregnant, hope I say this right, he actually lends the child to her or to them. Sorry, but it's your responsibility to rear, as the old folks will say, to rear, to raise, to train. Old word, no, country mama. Rear, to train, to develop the child. Yeah. So when your child, my mama, I was raised by a country mama. I'm gonna always say that. I'm always keep that girl around, and somehow or another, my mom had a conversation with us before we went to the store. I don't know what it's like to act out in the store. I'm gonna be honest with you, Shay. I think that's strange. Because my mom had a conversation with us before we got there that we're going to this store. And when we walk in this store, you keep your hands to yourself. And we're going to walk down this aisle and you don't touch nothing on the aisle. And she made sure that what she said stayed. Because if you hang out in this store and you want to act out, I'm going to act out right on with you. Well, Yolanda's, what does that have to do with creativity? She was responsible to teach us, to rear us, to train us to become citizens in the world. And so if she didn't do her job, that's not God's fault. That's not the church's fault. That's not the teacher's fault. So a lot of times we blame other people. We blame other people for what we did not receive, but we did not do our part. It wasn't until I moved to Charlotte, all these years of receiving 800 prophecies, that I learned I have to be a participant in the process. Yes, God will make me a millionaire if I learn how to budget. Yes, God will bless my business if I stick to my policies. Yes, he will if I learn to value myself and learn to stand up for myself and say no. Simple as that. No. Or you know what, or to say, you know what, this product, like you said, be okay with this doesn't align. Sometimes it doesn't align. I don't know how we got over and talked to the cribs, but maybe this is what we're supposed to be doing. Sometimes it doesn't align because you're not skilled. Sometimes it doesn't align because the character doesn't match. And who they are doesn't align with who you are. That doesn't mean everybody's going to become friends. But God often protects us from things we do not know about. That's why it's not working. Because what you don't see down the line are all the things that are going to come with you doing their project.
Yes.
So it's wisdom to bow out. I just had to get some. I've had times where I've had to return funds. Now, well, I'm not saying this should be a thing. Oh, yes, I did. Aren't you so proud of me? You know what? Now, when if that's the thing, it's my fault if it's my fault. But recently, I said, you know what? This don't align. Here you go. The next day, I got a call. I got more back than I gave back.
Listen,
you have to be okay with understanding that what God gave you was not an accident. There's a reason why you're attracted to what you're attracted to. There's a reason why I'm a girl who grew up watching Transformers, and I make no apologies, and I love it. There's a reason why I'm attracted to that. That's true. I grew up playing with Barbie dolls and Transformers. I love it. I think it's so, that is God's truth.
So two polar opposites. A good guy. I love it.
First of all, I'm a church kid. So Transformers and Barbie dolls, and let's please not forget G.I. Joe, because y'all be counting them out the conversation, were my choir.
Look
okay,
at you, you had diverseness already. God was introducing you to already diversity already. Look at God.
I'm just saying. So it's multiple things, right? Because most of us are multi-gifted.
Yes.
So I love these things. I found them to be very innovative, but they were also my choir. Like, I set them up as my, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that in all those things, there's a reason why I was attracted to that. But it's my responsibility. This is what y'all help me with. It's my responsibility to cultivate that.
Yes.
Yes, I did. Y'all playing G.I. Joes, Transformers, and Barbie dolls. All
Autobots, y'all too high.
Not you in a tiara talking about sing 3-part harmony.
More than meets the eye.
Listen, I played with these things when it was normal for kids to play with, all these things. Yeah. This is my truth.
That's so
but I recognize that all these things in some type of form helped me to become these things. That's just my truth. Right. So on all they said is I hope that in some type of way, we've said a lot, but I hope that in a way that we've helped somebody, whether it's a client, whether it's a creative, it's somebody in the in-between. The truth is you don't have to give up on what you do. You don't have to throw in the towel. You don't have to say it's too late. You don't have to let the AI, don't get me wrong, it was frustrating me too. But you don't have to let it do that. You do have to, as Claude said, I know everybody may not be a believer, okay? So whatever you submit to, you do have to take time out of your day. I'm not always best at this, but I heard Pastor Jamal Bryan say this today, and write something down. Don't just put in your phone, as Yuma said, when you read it versus the audio, there's just a different transfer. So you got to take time out your day, out your schedule. It's a challenge for all of us. You got to go back to writing this stuff down. What do you want? How do you want this to happen? And somebody say, well, I'm not Elton. I don't have a wife to have a business meeting. Well, you know what? Sit down at Starbucks and have a business meeting with yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have a partner to work this out with. You are your partner. Okay. And you hold your own self accountable. Every day, someone asks me, how do you keep doing this? Because there's nobody here to tell me to get up in the morning and do this work. So I have to hold my own self accountable to what I want to do. I don't want to keep y'all. So Pastor Mills says, shout out to my mentor, Elton Benjamin, paved the way. I was responsible for stewarding and developing the craft and authority within myself. Wow.
Big meals. Thanks.
Wow. So it's 10 night. It's late. Creators are often up late, but I want to do two things. I want to have a final word, and because I am a Jesus girl, I do want to actually pray, because what I do know to be true. This is what I do want to offer. Please go to therapy. I'm going to therapy. I'm gonna be very loud about that. Please go to therapy. You may say I can't afford. There are hundreds of programs in every city that offer pro bono, that offer temporary, but your mental health is everything, and you're no good to anyone if you can't think clear. Your health is everything. Please go to the doctor. Please try to do more 80-20. Okay, try to eat more good than you do bad. Clark, and we do a live again. Clark can speak today. Y'all can speak to it because they all, have worked on the health. They've all lost weight. I'm working on it too. But your mental health, your physical health is everything. You can do nothing for no one if you're not in a good space for yourself. If you need a minute, you just need a minute. That's just the truth. If you have to stop working on Mondays or you open late on, you just got to do whatever you got to do so you can be at full capacity, if you will. Okay. So I'd like to offer whatever your final words are, and then I would like to have Claude pray, if he doesn't mind.
Elton, go ahead.
Final word, Elton.
Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. My final word is I thank you again for what you've done.
Always.
Thank you for pulling this together. Thank you for having the courage to pull this together. You know what kind of people you have on the screen, and you know what the topic was, and you know who shies away from these topics. So you know, God rewards people that have the courage to do things and be the one to stand out and not talk out of both sides of the neck and trying to balance one thing, but stand on what they stand on and believe what they believe on. So I just want to say that. And again, I'm calling all creatives, Creative Verse 2026. Started 5 years ago, telling people about AI. And the ones that jumped on, and they're safe now. But we are in a pivoting situation, and I'm calling you guys, all creators, to Raleigh, North Carolina on September 18th, September 19th. If you need to get there, inbox me. We'll work out how you get there. You just need to be in the room. Inbox Yolanda. She can tell you the total experience, the people that you meet there, the stuff that you learn, the information, the connects.
Absolutely.
And your connects, the connects there. So Claude, Juma, y'all know we got 5 months, so get yourself prepared. I want to see y'all there. We'll start selling tickets on May 1st, creativeverse.org. And we're going to have some good speakers there. We're going to have our friend, our queen, Miss Fatima Burke. She would be there this year, teaching the class specifically for designers. That'll be her class, right? So anyway, thank you so much, Yolanda. Thank you guys for your time and all your wisdom that you poured upon us tonight.
Cool. Juma, final word?
Final word, expand. That's all I got, expand. If I could just encourage you to expand area of your life, not just in your gifting and your talents and your skills and your abilities, but expand your personal life. For some reason, creatives get caught up in a whirlwind of always creating for others, for themselves, never expanding for their own lives, and even taking time away from creating just to be. In order to become, you have to first be. And I think it's important that being is how you arrive at becoming. By taking on every encounter, every experience head on, face to face, and allowing yourself to be developed, because that's what God is doing. You're a seed, like Clark said, you're being developed in every experience. And if you take those experiences with you, when you arrive to the destination, you are more than prepared to take on whatever you stand in front of. So expand.
That's good. Claude, final word. Yeah.
I don't really have a final word. I'll just let my prayer be the final word. Can that be resolved for that? Cool.
Yes, sir.
You want to have a final word, or you want to close it? How you want to do it? It's your show.
Oh, I have a word after you pray.
Okay, good. Father, our God in heaven, we thank you for this time and this opportunity to come to you and talk about this subject of creatives and creativity. Father, we thank you for this moment, this time, and I thank you that every creative under the sound of my voice is anointed for the call and anointed with the purpose. Father, I thank you that you will keep them relevant, that you'll keep them fresh, that you'll even help them in their burnout. Father, I thank you that they heard what they needed to hear. Something that was said amongst this panel of creatives will sharpen them, spark them, ignite them to their next place. Father, Father, I thank you that they have the income, the strategy, the structure, the strength, the know-how to move forward. God, I thank you even now that you allow them to hear and see what is to hear what is next to their becoming. Father, I give you praise in advance that you're going to allow them to see the future, their future selves, and become their future selves. Father, I thank you that there is no shortage of creativity and there is no shortage of money. Father, I thank you that you will give us every resource that we need. I thank you that we have every client that we're supposed to have. I thank you that you are allowing us to tap into the future. I thank you that we will create the future, that we will design the future, that we initiate the future, that we will innovate the future. I thank you in advance for the language and the leverage and the leads that we need for the season that is to come. I thank you that we are in a winning season. I declare and decree that every creative has the resources, the income, the flow, the revenue, the ideas, the intellect, the integrity, Father, the maturity to do what needs to get done in this next. Father, as they become, as they decide and dare to be who they always wanted to be. Father, I thank you that 6-figure days are to come. I thank you that 7-figure days are to come. I thank you in Jesus' name that this will become our reality, that AI, that we come alongside it and work with it. We collaborate with you. We make you a business partner in our we make you a business partner in our businesses. And we thank you today and we give you praise and glory. Now I pray a special prayer for Yolanda. Thank you for her obedience, Father, because she obeyed on this side, open on the other side. Hallelujah. Thank you in advance. Give her what she needs. Give her the resources. Help her to build with that in which she cannot see. I thank you that she's anointed, she's called, and she's purposed. In Jesus' name that we pray. And all the people said, amen.
This is my final thought. Words have power. You have what you say. If you say I'm going to be broke, you will be broke. It's what happens is your mind starts to articulate that thought. If you say I'll never have enough, you'll never have enough. You say I don't have any ideas, you don't have any ideas. Words carry weight and they have power. The Bible says the life and death are in the power of the tongue. You have what you say. And so I hope in some way or another, no matter what side of the fence you're on, this has been impacting for you. You get one life and you have to live that one life to the best of your ability. I always say this, we're not cats. And they always talk about cats have 9 lives. So a cat gets to jump from one building to the next, fall off the building and try it again with the hope to make it. We're not cats. So you have to live every day in purpose. Thank you to my friends, Claude Hamilton, who has an amazing book called Out. Can you tell the name of the book again?
God, the Creative Genius.
God's Creative Genius. Juma, who has a couple of books out now. That's the book. And Juma, who has a couple of... Juma, tell us about your new book.
It's entitled Don't Drop Your...
Uh-oh, say it again. You hit the matrix, as Claude said.
Get out the matrix, Juma. Tell us the name of the book. We want to order tonight, please.
Oh, dang. Okay, good. I'm going to go back. So, Elton, creative verse. Yes, you should come. So we prayed. We sealed the deal. Creative verse, you should go. A lot of times we live in a cave. We don't come outside. We don't talk to the people. But that's not how you become. You become when you're willing to grow and expand and connect. And someone could have your answer, but you're not in the room.
And I'll say, this is creative verse. We're talking about creative verse, but when a creative has a product, let us be the first one to buy it. Let us be the first one to purchase whatever they do. I made sure when Claude did his book, I was one of the first ones to purchase it.
Yes,
because that's how we keep motivation going, and that's how we keep learning, because we don't know everything, and we all have different experiences. But if you come to Creativeverse, you can hear everybody experience and you'll learn. All right.
Cool beans. So we've had a wonderful conversation. Thank you guys again. And if you need graphic services, they're all available. There's enough money in the world for everybody. All right. So if you need graphic services, there are plenty of people to go to. You can't say there's no one available. So Claude, Shuma, Elton, phenomenal work. And shout out to all the other creators that do really like magical work, in my opinion. Just genius things that can only happen, in my opinion, through a human. So I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you again for hanging out with us. Everybody's been in the comments. Thank you, Pastor Mills, Deshaun, who we love, Deshaun, and all those people that
Michelle.
came through. Shout out to our queen. Shout out to Fatima, who we love very dearly. All right, y'all have a good night. Take care of yourself. Peace out.